Hi guys, today's video is going to be on the McFarlane Michael Keaton Batman 1989 figure. The retail price is $22.99 and I did purchase this with my own money. This has been previously released in the Ultimate Collection 6-pack and also with the Amazon exclusive Batman and Batmobile 1989 Gold Label 2-pack, which I will compare later on in the video. Let's take a look at the box. There's the front. On the side, the UPC code for whoever needs it, and then this side says Batman 1989. Then we have a nice picture, it looks like, from the movie on the back. One thing I did notice about this release is there's no movie logo on the side, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, and I'm just going to slide these down so you guys can see that all of these do have the movie logos on them. These are just a few that I pulled from my collection to show you that sometimes he does put them on the boxes, but for whatever reason, this box did not come with any of the movie logos on it. Okay, let's go ahead and open them up. Okay, so we'll start off with the accessories. Overall, these accessories are kind of on the big and bulky side, but when you look at his hands here, you can see why they're on the bigger side. They have bigger openings in his holding hands. So we'll start off with his set of fists. This is what they look like. They have some detail on them, which looks nice. Then we have the trigger hand and open hand. This one's the trigger hand. And then this is his open hand. Then we have a semi-open trigger hand. So this one has a much bigger opening on it. Okay, and then we have his grapnel gun here. I really like this one. Even though it's kind of big and bulky looking, it looks nice, and I like the fact that it is black and gold. And the gold is painted on this. Then we have his two ninja wheels. This is what they look like. The same on both sides. Then we have his two rods for his cape. These were used in the I Am Batman scene in the movie, the opening scene in the movie. That's what they look like. And then we have, let me get it close up for you guys. Yeah, there we go. So this is going to be his remote for his Batmobile. Which I find interesting that we're getting this in this release, because the gold label Batman that came with the Batmobile didn't even come with a remote. So now that I have this one, I guess I can use it for the Batmobile for display. So I think that's pretty cool. It's just plain on the back side. And then we have his Batarang. This Batarang is not movie accurate. It kind of looks more like an Xbox controller to me, and it is on the thicker side. I'll just turn it up here so you can see. You can tell it's pretty thick and bulky, not like the normal Batarangs. Then we have his character card. And it's the same picture that's on the back of the box. And then his data file. Okay, and I'm just going to show you guys what his accessories look like in these hands here. This is him with the remote. One thing I did notice that in the movie it has a little red light on it, and this one doesn't, but I mean, it's not a big deal. I think it's cool that we get it as an accessory. Then there is his ninja star, or ninja wheel. That's what he looks like. Then this is the reason why we got this extra gripping hand. That's a little bit bigger opening than these, because you actually need it if you're going to use it to hold the grapnel gun. So you would have to switch this out. I just wanted you guys to see that so that you guys know it's not going to fit in the ones that come on him. And then last but not least, we have this is his batarang. And that's what it looks like with him holding it. Okay, and for the rods, I will say that I wish he would start using softer plastic for the hands, because it took me a while to get these in here. But I'll show you guys what it looks like. So you can't just drape it over like that, or you're going to tear it, because the cape is kind of thin. And right there, you see, you can already see through it. So I don't want to rip it or make any more holes. So I'm going to turn his hand to the side like this and just carefully insert the rod here, and then rotate his hand back. And then I'm going to do the same with the other side into the little pocket here, just like that. And then I'm going to rotate his hand back around, just like that. So then he looks like this. And you can, you know, put them up higher like this. But I will say, when you do that, the cape does buckle in the back, because it's not big enough to really do, you know, the accurate kind of like high up pose like this. So you do kind of get an ugly buckle of the fabric back there. But yeah, that's how you have to put these rods in. Again, you can see even on this side, you can see my finger moving behind that little hole. So the cape is very delicate, and you don't want to rip it trying to display him. So just to take him off, I turn the hands back inward and remove the cape. And again, on this one, I'm going to turn it this way inward, and then I'm going to remove the cape. Okay, so moving on to the figure. Right off the bat, we can see that his head is not accurate. The head and neck piece should be one connected piece. But again, just like the Christian Bale Batman Begins figures, I feel like it might have been a lose-lose situation due to collectors' personal preferences. And if you have the connected head, like I said in my last video, you're not able to customize and use another head sculpt with this body. So, I mean, we know that he can do it. You know, he's done it for the Hush Batman, and those were around the same price point as well. But I think McFarlane chose playability and articulation over accuracy, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. He still looks nice. Again, every collector has their own preferences that they look for or that they want in a figure. I'll give you a close-up here. He's got really nice eye detail too. His eyes look nice. And for $23, I think it's a decent release. If you haven't purchased the 2 previous releases of this figure, plus you get all the extra accessories with this one. And we didn't even get that many accessories with the Batman Begins one. So I like the fact that we got a bunch of accessories with this release. His emblem is molded. And I don't know what this is right here. It's like a metallic. It's very shiny and metallic, and I can't get it off my figure, so I'm not quite sure what that is. Yeah, and I'm not sure if you guys can see those circular patterns in his pectoral muscles here. That's a mold defect, just like we saw on the Christopher Reeve figure. He's got some nice ab detail. His belt is molded. Oh, and we also have surface cracks back here. You can see that, and it looks like it continues around to the side. Well, that's disappointing. I know some people care about that, some people don't, but I thought I would mention those to you guys. His boots do have some detail on them as well. And then let's talk about the cape here. I don't like this cape. It's that cheap, shiny looking material. It feels cheap. It's extremely thin. And even where they sewed it, like I showed you previously, that the holes are see-through, like it actually makes holes in the material because it's so cheap. The thread damages the material. And it's not a wired cape. And I don't know. He's released this figure 2 times before. It would have been nice if we could have got a wired cape with him, and maybe not one as cheap looking as this. I also have an issue with being able to see the stitches on the outside of the cape. I think this should have been a double layer cape like the one that came on Power Girl. It was wired, but it was also double layered. That way they could have hidden the pockets and they wouldn't have to be that big. Y'all saw how skinny the sticks are. They could have made these half the size, double layered, because if you're going to pose him like, with his cape down, you can see those. You see that? You can see those threads, and it looks ugly. I mean, it looks ugly. I don't like it. Like, I think this is one of the worst capes I've seen on his figures. So, yeah. Also, the spikes on his gauntlets, I wanted to mention, they are a bit more pliable. Let's see if I can show you guys. Than the previous released ones. See that? I can very easily, move them. So it's definitely a softer plastic, and it makes it more pleasant to handle this figure. So I'm not always gouging my hands with the spikes trying to pose him and stuff. So let's go ahead and show you his articulations. So he doesn't have much of a down. He can't do, look down that much. And then that's how far he can go look up. And you have to be careful here because his cape does drape over his shoulder a bit, but you are still able to get the 360 motion with the arms. He does have the double jointed elbows there. And he does have the typical McFarlane wrist. And it is hindered a little bit from the sleeve there on the gauntlet. He can twist 90 degrees up here at the top and also 360 at the waist here. His leg can go back that far, but it is hindered a bit by the diaper, and there is a bit of a gap here. He can go that far forward. He does have double jointed knees, but his calf muscle hits his thigh back here, so it can't go up any further than that. Then the typical ankle joints that McFarlane has, and toe articulation. And let's just go ahead and check the gap here. He does have a little bit of a gap when you bend him backwards right here. And then he can go this far forward. So he has some nice, he can go forward quite a bit actually. All right, guys, so here I have all three of the figures here. This one is, you know, obviously in the Ultimate Collection 6-pack. This one is from the Gold Label 2-pack with the Batmobile, Amazon exclusive. So I wanted to show you guys really quick here. One thing I noticed when I was placing them down here are the color variations. So this one that came with the Batmobile has a bluish tone to the plastic. Then this one that was just released has like a greenish undertone to the plastic. And then the Ultimates, I don't see any weird colors like I do on these two. But yeah, I thought I would mention that. That's a little weird. It may not be a big deal to some collectors, but you know, some people are ultra picky about their collections. So, all right, right off the bat, we can see this is definitely the same head sculpt here. We have triplets. The bodies are the same mold, but there are some color discrepancies. So the one in the 6-pack is a little bit more of a yellow tone gold than this release. And then this one is even as a muted gold color, the one that came with the Batmobile. This one also has the same color, gold color around his emblem here. But those are, you know, the only differences besides the capes. So again, we've seen the shiny cape on this one. This one has the matte cape, which I prefer. If we're, you know, not going to get a wired cape, I do prefer this fabric. Yeah, there you go. So I do prefer this fabric for the soft goods cape. It doesn't wrinkle very easily. And this guy is strapped in still. So, but I am able to reach behind his box to pull out his cape, and it is the same material as the one that came on the Batmobile. Again, that's the material I prefer. So yeah, I mean, there's not any differences, and I don't mind owning all three, but just so you guys know, there's some minor changes, like I said, with the capes, the coloration of the belt, you know, just minor things that are different. Overall, I feel that this purchase is worth it for the collector who hasn't picked up any of the Keaton Batman figures. Also, I think it is worth it if you're just wanting all the accessories that came in this release, so you have the ability to display him, you know, in the opening movie scene, if you're like a movie buff as well. Or if you're a completist collector, you know, I could see you definitely wanting this as well. I honestly don't mind having more than one of him because he is one of my favorite Batman figures, and this nostalgia hits hard with these 89 Keaton figures for me. So yeah, I'm curious if any of you guys have all three versions. I feel like the previous two releases they're very hard to pass on. So yeah, is this going to be a pass for any of you? Are you guys going to purchase this? I'm interested in hearing your opinions, so don't forget to comment below. That wraps up today's video. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.